Welcome back to Travolting Presents Easy Ryders. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering celebrity. Enjoy the episode. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. All right. Let's just get into it. We're talking about Woody Allen's 1999
want to
film Celebrity today.
You know how I watched this movie?
How'd you watch this?
I watched it on Peacock.
Ooh, it's on Peacock?
It's on Peacock.
I didn't know that. It was 98.
How did you watch this movie?
I rented this movie from Prime. I don't have a Peacock account.
My girlfriend has a Peacock account.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's huge for you.
Now that my girlfriend and I are sharing a bunch of like subscription services, we have like 7 subscriptions now.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny is I work for NBC Universal and they don't give me a Peacock account. I literally produce content.
I work for Disney and I don't have a Disney
I
Plus
literally
and Hulu
produce content for Peacock and they don't give me a Peacock account.
Don't you think like that's something with like film crews that get wrap gifts?
Just get a free Peacock account.
You should just get a free subscription
Disney
account to their streaming service. That seems kind of like an easy way of like big corporations being like, here's
it should be part of the perk package for working for these
but
companies.
It's also like, I would honestly be okay with that.
You know, I was going to Florida and I was thinking about going to Universal Studios, a theme park. Mm-hmm. And I saw online, it's like, yeah, if you're a Universal employee, you can get free access to the theme park.
No shit.
And so I'm like, oh, let me contact HR and I'll see if they can get me because HR is the branch you go through for it.
Yeah.
It's not just about like workplace complaints. The human resources will help you out.
Yeah.
So call them up and they're like, oh, let's look into that. And they call me back and they're like, oh yeah, it's only for the corporate workers. Which sucks.
Fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, just
you watch this shit on Peacock. So yeah.
We're here to talk about 1998, right?
Yeah, November 1998. It's Woody Allen's like 200th movie. We should just quit. Like the thing about covering this movie is that Woody Allen is a very tricky topic to talk about.
Yes.
Because he has multiple sexual abuse allegations against him.
Yes.
From his adopted children. He married his adopted daughter.
Yeah.
Some women who've worked with him on set said he was weird and creepy with them. Mm-hmm. A lot of allegations against him.
Yeah.
But he has worked with so many actors that it's kind of impossible not to talk about him. And he's made some seminal movies that are extremely important in the development of film and the discussion of it.
Yeah.
That's not to excuse his actions or when you say alleged actions, even though I think I know where both of us stand on it.
Of course.
But just for litigious purposes.
Yeah.
I think we know where we stand. It's hard to just not talk about him. You kind of have to at some point. From 1982 to 2017, he made a movie every single year. Mm-hmm. He worked with a lot of people. And a lot of those movies are extremely successful. He's won a lot of Oscars, specifically for writing.
Yeah. And
a lot of those movies are very good. It doesn't excuse anything, but it does just like, we do have to set this like as the baseline for this to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Normally, you can kind of get around the issue because you're like, okay, I know it's a Woody Allen movie, but I'll just like, this is about people in Paris, or it's about a woman with memory issues, or it's about a heist. Like,
yeah,
these are great. I can just like kind of separate the art from the artist here.
Yeah.
It's not a movie where I was able to separate the art from the artist.
It's not.
This is not like most Woody Allen movies where like it's obviously a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah.
But you can like...
But it's also a Woody Allen movie.
Yes, this is a movie about...
Woody Allen.
Yes.
Not literally Woody Allen, but basically Woody Allen.
This is a movie about a guy who talks like this in New York. I'm played by Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
Because I think Woody Allen knew if he cast himself in the role, he'd be executed at The Hague. But no. Who basically is like walking around trying to figure out why women don't like him,
while also trying to sleep with any woman.
Trying to sleep with any
woman
legs. Who he runs into.
Yeah,
and so it's really hard to separate like the Woody Allen allegations from this movie.
It is, and it's also
from my own personal perspective of it is that this movie sucks. Like, I don't like this movie.
Yeah, it's not very good.
It's not a good movie. It's boring.
I didn't hate it as much as you. I thought there were parts in this that I liked.
I hated this movie. This is the type of movie of like, so I don't know if our friendly neighbors across, the neighborhood of the Above the Title podcast.
Yes.
I did an episode with them recently.
Yes.
Called Dumbo 2019.
Yes. Very different.
And I don't want to like say too much about the episode in case it hasn't come out yet, because I'm a little confused on like when that.
Yeah, it will not have come out yet.
Okay. So then I won't like say too much. But one thing that I will say is that something that like annoyed me about that movie, which could be seen as like a pro, is that Tim Burton is making a movie about himself as being Dumbo.
Yes.
Right. But here's the thing. Tim Burton's done that many, many times.
Yeah.
Where he makes himself the central protagonistic character. Cole Bradley goes into a long spiel about this that's really well said.
Yeah.
I won't go too far into it. But that being said, I really like when film directors, and I realize this is the majority of film directors, that almost every movie they make
is about them.
Is about them.
I'm a believer that every movie is about its director.
Right. And the difference of what makes it good or bad is how much you can like sprinkle in all the other shit with it without making yourself seem like the Christ figure who died on the cross.
Well, I even think that that's fine. There are movies
again, but I say it's like there are movies where let me rephrase. Movies where you can tell the director is a central protagonist.
Yeah.
Is what irks me a little bit, because I hear what you're saying. Like every movie is about like its director, but like the difference is like how obvious and frank they're making it, and it's like it's almost like they're pushing it onto you of like that.
There's a movie called All That Jazz. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yes,
directed by Bob Fosse.
Yeah,
and it's entirely just Bob Fosse making a movie about how much he hates himself. He casts Roy Scheider as himself. Roy Scheider spends like weeks following Bob Fosse, and it's just the Bob Fosse story.
Yeah.
And he's just like how he portrays himself entirely as a piece of shit in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like an incredibly introspective work of art.
It's an incredible take on that whole thing.
Yeah. The problem with Celebrity is that Woody Allen's just making like a wry comedy about his like sexual frustrations with women.
Yeah.
Which there's a version of that which is good.
But it's
the version of it is not made by
Woody Allen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's made other movies about like sexual frustration.
Yeah.
Some of them are very highly acclaimed. Some of them won Oscars.
Yeah.
This one is just like, it goes too far for me to like really have much to appreciate about it.
Yeah. And it's also like this plot is very loose. It's a very loose plot because it bounces around a lot between different characters that we don't ever quite get fully introduced to.
Yeah.
Because like it would have you believe that like this movie would have you believe like, yes, Kenneth Branagh's character who plays Lee Simon, like in the movie he's portrayed as like a scumbag.
Yes.
And like that would lead you to believe it's like, okay, so maybe Woody Allen's being like honest about himself of his sleabagginess.
Kind of is.
But then you know what the correct course of action to take, if that's the direction you're going with, is then Judi Davis's character, Robin Simon, deserves the same amount of like attention and focus on her character and justifying why she isn't just like the old bag lady.
Yeah.
And
she does have a somewhat triumphant story at the end of the movie.
Somewhat.
But not as she doesn't get as much attention paid to her as Lee Simon, Kenneth Branagh does.
Right.
And the ultimate problem with this movie, remove all this context from it, it's just like isn't very interesting.
It's not. It's very boring.
Yes.
This is a very boring movie that I would not have ever picked this out on a shelf to watch one night. Like nothing about it seems interesting. Anything that could have been interesting was more or less wasted. Like you have Leonardo DiCaprio doing like a very crazy like sequence in this movie that could have been like the juice of it all, right? But then like once that scene's over and done, there's nothing really left to it.
It's just a movie about two people like kind of going through various experiences in high society in New York, which is the plot of every Woody Allen movie. But the high society in New York, connected with like celebrity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of famous people in this movie.
I just like, because like even when we talk plot about this movie. I just like all I can really muster to even say about it's like Lee Simon, Kenneth Branagh's character, is a piece of shit, and that's it. Like that's all I can really like muster. That's the energy I can muster to talk.
Because there's a version of this movie where it's a lot more interested in the introspection of this character, and like I said, there are other Woody Allen movies that are that.
Yeah.
But this movie's not really interesting. This movie's just kind of like, let's just watch this guy go through some situations, and some are funny and some are not.
Yeah. So thank you for listeing to our podcast. You can join us next week.
Quick Winona context, because she is in this movie.
She is in this
movie. Why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But
she's good.
Yeah, she's good.
She's good in this movie.
She doesn't have that much. She's only in like I think 3 scenes.
Yeah.
She filmed this very quickly. She was asked to be in this movie before she films Alien. And she's like, I have a schedule conflict after Alien. I'm immediately going into this movie called Veronica Guerin. Yeah. That movie never happens. And it does happen eventually with Cate Blanchett.
Okay.
But not with Winona. But that movie falls apart. And so she's like, oh, I'm available again. It's up until like mid 2010s. It's kind of every actor wants to work with Woody Allen at least once.
Yeah.
He's a big actor's director. His scripts are very unique. He's highly beloved by the industry, in spite of his allegations at that point. It's around 2015 when Dylan Farrow and Ronan Farrow like kind of reopen it and bring it back into the limelight again, that the tide starts to turn.
Yeah.
But he's he's one of those people who everyone wants to work with, and he makes so many movies that it's like, everybody needs to work. Like you have to work with Woody at least once.
Yeah.
And so Winona like really does want to work with him. She's available because Veronica Guerin falls apart. So immediately after Alien wraps, she goes to New York and goes right into this. She takes the role that she was originally asked to do is taken by Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore has to drop out for something else. So Winona just takes the role back.
Yeah.
She goes and she shoots all her scenes, I think, over a 2-week period. It's a pretty quick turnaround for her.
Yeah.
And she says it was a good experience. There's really not much about her in the book. It's like two paragraphs. It's just that, like, she flew in, she did the scene 2 weeks. She said it was a very nice experience.
Yeah.
And that's all that she really talks about this.
Yeah.
It's not a big role.
On a side note, Jeff, how close to the end of the biography are we getting?
Very close.
Yeah, because the biography ends up until...
We basically have like some text about the creation of Girl Interrupted and Lost Souls.
And what's the context of like the book? Was it she was writing it like towards this stage of her
she didn't
life?
write it.
Well,
it's written by a guy, but it was the opening of the book, which I talked about last week, is during like the post on Alien Resurrection.
Okay.
So we'll check back in next week where there'll be some more context to it. But for now, this is what we have.
Okay.
But she's in the first scene of this movie. We can just jump right into talking about it because she's right away in it.
Yeah. Right.
Because career-wise, it's just like she wants to be in a Woody Allen movie. That's like a mark for an actor, so she just does it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit into the trajectory of her career necessarily.
Yeah.
Because it's a small part. She just wants to be in it.
And there's not really much outcome to talk about of her.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very small supporting role in this movie.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we start off on a movie set.
Yes.
Where
they're skywriting Help in the Sky for this one shot they need to get. This woman running up a plaza in New York and looking up and seeing Help in the Sky.
Yeah.
And I do like the structure of this scene because it's like we're losing the clouds. They're rushing to get her on. The makeup people are all frantically trying to... the actress is played by Melanie Griffith.
Yeah.
And they're frantically trying to get her like into the scene and get the shot before they lose the skywriting.
Yeah.
They succeed at getting the shot, but as people who work in the film industry, it's kind of fun how there's PAs, they're running over to construction workers, and they're like, can you just hold for like 2 minutes, please? Just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a good scene. I do like it. And
my favorite's when we get to see Winona in it. She's like, oh, did you get your voucher? And it's like, oh, she was picked up as being background that
she's
day.
a background actor. She needs her voucher.
Yeah.
But that's when we're introduced to Lee Simon, played by Kenneth Branagh, just playing Woody Allen.
Yeah.
The problem with Kenneth Branagh is an actor I like very much.
I do too.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah.
Accomplished director too.
Yeah.
Even though he has made like Artemis Fowl but every year he turns out a Sacre Bleu, it is me, Hercule Poirot, I'm going to solve the mystery, and those movies are great.
They are great. Haunting in Venice, great movie.
I like it a lot.
A
sleeper hit.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect
midnight movie.
Your perfect 7 out of 10. It's a perfect 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Quintessential.
Yeah.
But and it is possible for a movie that's a 7 out of 10 to be better than an 8 out of 10. It's just like the perfect 7 out of 10 can be better than like it's pretty good 8 out of 10.
It's interesting.
Don't ask me how, but it just can.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the problem with his performance in this movie is he's playing Woody Allen to a T.
Yeah.
It's like if you watch, Small Time Crooks or Annie Hall or Manhattan or whatever, he's just playing Woody Allen in those movies.
Yeah.
He's not doing a spin on it. He's just like an imitation.
Yeah.
Which very much limits him as a performer. Because now every scene Kenneth Branagh, I'm thinking about doing is we're going to go over there and I'm going to interview. How about that? Is that okay? Like he just has to do the Woody Allen thing.
Yeah.
Very limiting as a performer.
Yeah.
But we get to meet his character, who's a entertainment reporter, journalist. Mm-hmm. He meets Winona and is like, oh, I saw you at this bar once. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, maybe I'll stop by later to see you. And she's like, yeah.
Who was that girl you were at the bar with or whatever?
And he's like, oh, no, that was a guy.
Yeah. That was a transvestite or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. But he kind of has to step away from her, and he and Melanie Griffith drive off, and he's doing a puff piece about her where she's driving him to all the places she grew up in the neighborhood in New York. Goes to her childhood home, and they have sex or she sucks his dick.
Yeah, performs oral. Because I won't have sex with anybody
because I'm married.
But anything above the neck,
that can be arranged.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, we kind of get the vibe that he's a guy who just like sleeps with celebrities for the clout.
Yeah.
That's his bit. Mm-hmm. He moves around town.
Yeah.
We then meet his ex-wife, Robin, played by Judy Davis, who's in a religious retreat, even though she's not religious.
Yeah.
Which is it's a funny sequence and it's a funny bit. Like all Woody Allen movies, there are funny bits to them. Like he's pretty good at cutaways and sequiturs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But we meet her there, and she's like, I'm not religious. So what am I doing here? And her friend's just like, oh, he's going to help you get over Lee.
Yeah.
And we meet a lot of character actors who are working at this facility. Dylan Baker is a priest. Mm-hmm. J.K. Simmons is a traveling salesman of Christ.
Jesus statues.
Yeah, Jesus statues. All one shot cutaways. Mm-hmm. But eventually she leaves the religious facility, not having her answers.
Yeah.
At this point, I wrote in my notes, Woody Allen made a movie about New York elites or New York high society and messy relationships as they travel about the upper echelon of New York society. Never saw that one before. Yeah. Shocker he made that movie.
Right.
And I'm not, if you're good at it, don't, why break it?
Why break it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we cut back to Kenneth Branagh, Lee, who's now traveling around with Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Who is also an actress or a model?
She's a
model. That's right.
This is one of Charlize Theron's first movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a chain-smoking model who he's just taken around town.
Yeah. And her whole bit is that she will have sex with him, but is
her bit is that she gets sexual pleasure from just being touched anywhere in her body.
Yeah.
He puts his hand on her side and she has an orgasm.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my God, we got to get back. If the hand could just do that, I got to get you back to my house.
Yeah.
And it's Kenneth Branagh doing this.
Yeah.
It's not Woody Allen doing this.
Yeah. It's Kenneth Branagh.
But he's like, I gotta drive her back to my house.
Yeah. He keeps trying to keep her not distracted.
Yes.
Because she keeps going out with her friends and he keeps following her around like a lost puppy.
Yeah. He just wants to have sex. He's down bad.
He's down bad for Charlize. But then eventually she gets back in his car and then they crash and then she goes home.
Yeah.
And he fails.
And he's just desperate to have sex with her.
Yeah. So then
they crash into a decor shop, a 60s decor shop.
And then at one point he's married with Famke Janssen.
Yeah, Famke Janssen's the next person he goes with. But first we get a decent cutaway to Robin's story.
Yeah.
Who lengthwise.
She meets Joe Mantegna.
Yes, who I am only calling Joey Zaza. She plays Joey Zaza in The Godfather 3.
Okay.
And there's multiple sequences where people are just like, Zaza! And Garcia, as he shoots him.
Yeah.
But anytime I see Joe Mantegna, I'm just like, Joey Zaza.
Joey Zaza.
Yeah, that's Joey Zaza.
Yeah. Joey, who's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He runs a journalism firm of some sort. It's never quite explained.
Yeah.
This movie would be a lot more fun to talk about if it wasn't.
If we cared.
Well, no, if just in describing it, it kind of sounds fun. in a way, but the movie isn't fun.
No, it's not.
It's not
boring.
fun, and it's and it's like there's the uncomfortableness factor, just like, well, I can't really find this that funny if I'm thinking about Woody Allen the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a major problem.
And it's boring.
It's the same reason you can't really watch the Cosby Show anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Like there are some, art separated from the artist movies that you can like get away with. Like Kevin Spacey for the most part. You can watch like Kevin Spacey performances most because he plays creeps in them.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like be fine with it. Mm-hmm. If you watch like the Cosby Show, you can't read Bill Cosby as like this
family man.
Yeah, this great family man anymore. It doesn't work. That show's ruined. You can't enjoy it.
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of the same thing here, where it's like this is just too uncomfortable for me to like think about or enjoy.
Yeah.
But Robin starts going out with Joey Zaza, a claimed New York mobster from The Godfather 3.
Yeah.
And they go to a film screening where they run into Lee.
Yeah.
She
runs into Lee a few times, and like the track of this development is first time she sees Lee, she's like terrified. Yeah. It's like, oh, he can't see me or whatever.
She's terrified from him, but he plays cordial. And then by the time they're in the film screening, they start screaming at each other.
Yeah.
As the movie plays.
And then she leaves. Yeah. The next time we'll see them together is at another film screening where he's like down in the dumps and she's married to Joe.
Yeah. Because I think that it's the movie that. Oh, no, it's not. It's a different movie. Just he makes a comment about. He's like, it's just another movie by a pretentious director who shoots big black and white movies with an actor who's shooting a remake of a sequel. And then which is funny because the movie's black and white.
Yeah,
it's like a nice enough self-deprecating joke.
Yeah.
He sees a critic walk in. He's like, that guy's he hated every movie, and then he married a big bosom lady, and he started liking movies.
Great.
And that's and it's like this is all like New York high society jokes.
I have nothing to give.
I watched
nothing.
I watched the movie The Thomas Crown Affair with Pierce Brosnan. This week. And that's a New York high society movie. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that movie.
That's great. That's awesome.
It very different in tone than this, but when you're thinking of this, it's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah. I just like watching this movie for me was such a struggle because like I didn't really care about the premise initially, and then the movie started. It was black and white, and it's Kenneth Branagh doing a Woody Allen impression, and then knowing about Woody Allen and knowing about what the plot of the movie is going to be, it's like I'm checked out. Yeah.
Because there's this point we do get a flashback to Kenneth Branagh he's at a high school reunion.
Yeah,
and it was
like, what am I doing in my life?
Yeah, he basically breaks up with Robin at the reunion or shortly thereafter.
Something like that, yeah.
Because he like has like one of those I'm a failed writer moments. Yeah, I need to make myself interesting.
Yeah. And then at some point he gets hooked up with Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays like a big coked out actor.
Yes.
For the whole time, this sequence I thought was a bit funny only because like he's doing all these like crazy things with Leo,
and he's just trying to get a normal interview.
He's just trying to get a normal interview, and he's trying to sell his script.
Yeah, he's trying to sell his script about an armed car robbery
to the point where they have an orgy.
His script sounds like it sucks, which is good.
Yeah, that his script is awful. To the point where he like gets involved in like an orgy with Leo.
And he's like, but the robbers, the thing is that they're robbing the armored trucks.
Yeah. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, yeah, I'll think about it. You do some work on the script, and then my guy will contact. Oh, by the way, don't worry about the $6,000. You could pay that back in installments because they went out gambling in Atlantic City.
Leo like brutalizes his girlfriend. In this sequence.
Yeah.
And Kenneth Branagh's like, oh, that's whatever. So tell me about this movie. And like, the idea is supposed to be it's a commentary on like abusive actors, and they just get like a pass.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it with that.
Fuck me. I hate this movie so much.
We do have to talk about the Pussy Posse.
The Pussy Posse?
Yeah, are you aware that Leonardo DiCaprio in the early 2000s was in a group with Tobey Maguire and several others that they called the Pussy Posse?
No.
Because they go out on the weekends to get laid. And they called themselves the Pussy Posse.
Well, that's great.
This is a true story.
That's great.
And it's all I could think about is that he was like with the Pussy Posse in this scene.
Yeah.
Except Toby was not there.
wasn't there.
You ever seen Molly's Game?
Yeah.
Are you aware that Michael Cera is playing Tobey Maguire in that movie?
No.
Yeah.
Is that really?
Yeah, I guess Tobey Maguire's a competitive
Gambler.
yeah, like card gambler, and so Michael Cera is playing Tobey Maguire in that
No
movie.
shit. I did not know
Yeah.
that. How's Tobey Maguire doing now? Is he doing okay?
He's fine. He's rich. He is seemingly just like kind of like insane. But
That's what I keep hearing though, is that he still battling some inner demons and shit.
I haven't heard anything like that from Tobey Maguire. Or Tobey Maguire's just like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But we're back to Robin, who's dating Joey Zaza and now works at his news firm. And she has to like organize all these interview rooms, and she's like and she's messing up and putting the rabbis in with the skinheads and the ACLU members in with the Klansmen.
Yeah.
I don't know why all these people are coming in the same day for various interviews.
I don't know either.
A mobster comes in and is like, "What you doing? I'm booked next week. Oh, you don't do this. The fat Tony.
I'm getting deported.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting deported next week. There's John Gotti Sr. for you.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada.
We got 4 minutes left.
I wrote blowjob scene. Do you remember what this is?
Well, there's that first blowjob scene at the very beginning.
No, there's another one.
There's another one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can't remember why I wrote this.
I'm losing it. Yeah, I don't know.
But Lee Simon, we're back with his storyline.
Yeah.
And he reconnects with Winona at a screening, I believe, for the film.
You skipped over something.
What did I skip? I didn't skip the big thing. This happens after it.
Are you okay?
I'm absolutely certain. I wrote this in my notes in sequence.
Okay.
I have not skipped over the big thing we have to talk about in this movie.
Yeah.
Folks, in case you're thinking we're rushing through this, we are. But also, there's a big thing we are gonna have to talk about for a bit.
Yeah.
That just like has to be addressed. It's not something we can just mention.
Hi, Stuart.
Not that.
It's not that. We'll get, yeah. But he reconnects with Winona at a screening of their movie with the help in this guy. Actually, no, that's not what happens. I don't remember. They reconnect at the bar. I believe, that she works at.
Yeah. They meet back up at the bar.
And they become a thing. She's trying to get into acting for real.
She's still going to school.
Yeah.
She's in college.
Yeah, and she's at which Woody Allen married his daughter, and it was like 20.
Yeah.
But they reconnect, and she's attending various like tryouts and auditions and rehearsals.
Yeah.
And he's talking with her. He's like, "You're just a free spirit. You're great. You're the romantics in all of my books." Because he's written 2 books, and he's writing a 3rd one right now.
Yeah.
And he's describing how she is the main character, the romantic in all of his books.
Yeah.
And how that fits in.
Cool.
He breaks up with Famke Janssen at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's convinced that Winona is actually his muse.
Yeah.
He keeps moving from muse to muse.
Yeah.
She takes his finished manuscript of his great book that he had written that he can never accurately describe to people.
Yeah.
He describes it as like, it's about the fabric of our society.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great, but like, what's it about? Yeah. She takes the manuscript and throws it in the Hudson.
Yeah.
He no longer has a book. He's all depressed. But then we're back with Robin, who's now working as a news reporter for Zaza's firm, and she's in a restaurant, just interviewing famous people who are there.
Yes.
And she interviews like an actor. There's a gossip columnist, and multiple others. There's a congressman.
Yeah, there's
who's
a
like, I believe that the
Allegation.
I'll be completely exonerated from the allegations.
Yeah.
After she asks him some like puff question.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, who's this over there? And she walks over, and she runs, and she's like, oh, let me ask this guy a question. That's right, folks. It's me. Your favorite president, the 45th president of the United States. It's beautiful, tremendous, my best performance. That's right, folks. Donald Trump appears in this movie as himself. Yeah. He's not there for a long time, but he is in this movie. He has lines.
He has lines.
Yes. At this point, I wrote Donald Trump, oh my God, in all caps. The last possible thing I was expecting.
Can we just say to the audience, we are not Trump supporters.
Yeah, we're not Trump supporters.
Sure that we're talking about all this like Donald Trump stuff, and it's like we're not Trump supporters.
Yeah,
Let's make that clear.
The craziest possible thing that could have happened at this point in the movie.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is not in that many movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's in like it's impossible to find his filmography now because it's like everything is about. Obviously, he was the fucking 45th president of the United States.
Well, and Celebrity Apprentice and shit like that.
Yeah. But here I'm gonna try and because like all of his IMDb credits are now like he was on this like thing for a while. Here we go. Filmography, actor. Okay. Because here's the run of Donald Trump performances. He plays. He's in Ghosts Can't Do It as Donald Trump. He's in All My Children and Lady Boss TV shows as Donald Trump. He's in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York as Donald Trump. He's in an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as Donald Trump. He's in The Little Rascals as Waldo's dad. Heart to Hearts. Okay, maybe he's in a lot of fucking movies. I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, he is.
Heart to Heart, Secrets of the Past as Donald Trump. Across the Sea of Time as Donald Trump. Eddie as Donald Trump. The Nanny is Donald Trump. The Associate is Donald Trump. Suddenly Susan. The Drew Carey Show. Nightman. Spin City. 54. Sex and the City. The Job. Zoolander. Oh, shit.
Donald Trump's real estate tycoon video game? What?
Stuart, have you clocked that he's in Zoolander, a movie we're going to have to talk about in a few weeks?
Are we going to have more?
We're going to have to talk about Trump again.
Oh, my God.
2 weeks notice. Marmalade. Days of Our Lives. WrestleMania 23. Hell yeah. Horrorween. The Art of the Deal. And then he stops being in movies in like the mid 2000s when The Apprentice takes off.
Yeah.
But there's like a run. And I know that part of the condition is if you want to film at a Trump property, he had to make a cameo in your movie.
Right.
In New York. Like that was a requirement he had. But it was just kind of shocking just having him pop up in this movie. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
It's like
it was a bit weird to see it.
All right. So here's the thing about being the president. It's deeply upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
It's just like the last thing I was planning. I was afraid this whole episode would just be us doing Trump voices. Here's the thing about Woody Allen. He's completely innocent. That's probably what he would say in that moment.
Yeah.
That
was the big thing we were trying to get to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just that Woody Allen's in this movie. I'm looking at any fun facts about. I'm trying to see if there's anything interesting about why he's in this movie. If it's like that they filmed at his building. It just kind of seems like, this movie's about famous people and he's famous and he does that stuff. Mm-hmm. So they put him in it. Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, he does say that I'm buying St. Patrick's Cathedral. I'm going to build a very tall and beautiful building. That's what he says.
Gonna put my name on it.
Yeah, he says I'm going to build a very tall and beautiful building. And then she's like, oh, that's great, isn't it? She's going to demolish a cathedral.
Yeah.
But then we basically jump forward after the Trump scene. And she's going to get married to Zaza, but she leaves him at the altar.
Yeah.
And she runs off and she finds a psychic.
Yeah.
And the psychic's like, oh, my darling, I think you're going to be fine. And convinces him that he should, or that she should go back and marry him.
Yeah.
And she does.
Which is implied that she does do that. And
then at the very end, or Lee Simon, we're back with him and Winona, and he breaks up with Winona because he doesn't respect her as an artist.
Yeah.
And he just kind of sees her as his muse instead of her own,
He's down bad still.
Yeah, he's down bad.
Yeah.
He can't find success. And then he attends a film screening that he has to cover as a reporter. Oh my God. Now that he's broken up and he sees how happy Robin is with her new husband and realizes that he lost the very thing he was looking for the whole time. Mm-hmm. And that's where the movie ends. That's it, right? That's all.
That's it. I just, icky. Like that off myself.
It's just like we said, kind of just an uncomfortable movie. Just like, given all the context of it. And then Trump appearing at the end is the last thing you really want to see.
It's the cherry on top.
Yeah.
All this gooiness.
Yeah. This is a gooier movie than Alien Resurrection. Subject last week.
I hated this movie. I'd give it a 2.
I did not hate it as much as you.
I would say like the 2 is because there are some funny scenes. Kenneth Branagh does do an okay job.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder's okay in this movie. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
They're all great actors, and they're all doing good work in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woody Allen movies seldom have bad performances. Everyone here is good.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh is probably the one with the biggest limitation is he has to play Woody Allen. And he is very limiting to him as a performer.
Yeah. Totes.
But Winona's good in it. She doesn't, but like a lot of, like Alien Resurrection we talked about, she really doesn't have that much to do.
Yeah. Right.
She kind of just has to play like Woody Allen's muse and then kind of throw it back at him.
Yeah.
And that's where she fits in. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And in regards to her career, and like I said at the beginning, she does this just to work on a Woody Allen movie, just to do it.
Like many actors who.
Yeah. It's a small role. She doesn't want to it's not anything that's really going to impact her career besides just having that notch in her cap of being like, yeah, I was in a Woody movie. I did this. I did that. I was in a Woody movie.
Yeah.
Because actors like to collect directors that they've worked with.
Yeah.
And she can say that.
Yeah.
But in regards to her career, it's just like I said, 2 weeks, she's just a stepping stone as she makes her way to her next movie, which we'll be talking about next week.
Yeah.
Which is Girl Interrupted.
Which
is a very big one for us.
Very big one.
Yes. So next week is Girl Interrupted. Anything else you want to say about Celebrity? I don't think you do, right?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all we got to say here. But yeah, next week we're talking about Girl Interrupted. We'll be joined by a fun guest for that one. Make sure you tune in for it. In the meantime, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you listen on for this short little episode we've given you today. Every single like and subscribe helps. Every single one is appreciated, and we appreciate you all. So remember, you can pop into our Reddit, r/Travolting, TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com. If any questions, @TravoltingPod on all the social media platforms. Jeff W. Sweeney on Twitter for me. And then finally, special thanks to Becca Johnson for graphic design, Michael Van Bodegano Smith for the theme music that is taking you out. Have a great week, folks, and see you next time for Girl Interrupted.